In Philippians 2, 3 through 4, Paul implores us to do nothing out of selfish ambition or vain conceit. Rather, in humility, value others above yourself, not looking to your own interests, but each of you to the interests of others. This passage is a profound call to embody the character of Jesus, who exemplified humility and selfless love in its purest form. All right. Imagine for a moment when you choose to put someone else's need before your own. Perhaps it was as simple as, giving up your time to help a friend move. Or it might have been a more significant, like making a career decision that benefited your family more than it benefited you personally. Whatever the situation, recall this choice and how it impacted you internally. Often, the initial feelings can actually be mixed. There might be this twinge of self-doubt or a momentary loss of our own desires where we mourn something and we have to set it aside. Yet there's always something deeper, more resonant that follows. It's a sense of peace. The quiet joy that comes from loving another person well. This joy echoes in the heart of Christ, who made himself nothing by taking the very nature of a servant. We see that in Philippians 2:7. Acting in humility and valuing others above ourselves does so much more than just help those around us. It transforms us. It molds our character closer to that of Jesus, who did not merely act humbly, but was humble, who did not just occasionally value others, but whose every action was oriented toward the good of others. When we live this way, we are not just following some moral precept. We are participating in the divine dance. Now, I can't imagine a better example of this than marriage. Immediately when I read this, I thought of my marriage. I've been married for almost 10 years, and I can't help but think of all we have been through and the process of what Paul is saying here. There are so many examples of where I have had to choose to die to myself to value my wife and her needs. And the her wants over mine are not only what I want in our marriage, but because I don't want it to work, but I want it to thrive. And just so you know, it does become easier over time, but not just with her, but now with my kids, with those I work with, our families, and so many more. So reflect on that instance where you prioritize someone else. In that moment, you are living and breathing the example of the gospel. How did it feel? Likely, it felt right. Not easy, but profoundly right, because in that act, you touched something eternal. You lived out the truth that in the kingdom of God, the last shall be first, and the servant of all is the greatest. In these moments, we find our true identity and purpose, and we get a glimpse of the profound joy that comes from being like Jesus.